FNG. All right. I'm going to take too long to get into it. I got to go to the gym. Close up some of these windows. Ready to get started? As y'all ready to get right into it? Why you shouldn't deal with crazy women. Just trying to close out some of these windows. I got a lot of windows open. By the way, guys, I need clippers. If you're a clipper, holler at your boy. Yeah, let's double tap the screen, please. Let's double tap the screen. Let's get some guys in here and double tapping the screen so get more people in the chat. Double tap the screen. Double tap. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes. I'm about to start in a minute, but let's just double tap the screen now. All right, let's get into it. Why you shouldn't deal with crazy women. I think it's podcast 222 or podcast 222. My hair needs to be done crazy. All right, let's do it. Turn that off because the Wi-Fi be wilding. All right, podcast 222. Why you shouldn't deal with crazy women. You know, the one thing that I hate about this shit is you have a large selection of men that are really into crazy women. Like if you go on my page, I just uploaded a video where it's talking about one of these crazy woman situations. But for the longest, I can never understand why men like, oh, I like my woman a little crazy. I like my woman like this. I like my woman like that. That shit isn't normal. I never understood that because one, I don't like disrespect. I don't like being disrespected. I don't like being violated, right? Because usually that's what happens. Unless a woman's straight up telling you at the beginning of your interaction, oh, I'm crazy. I'm like this. And you just say, okay, well, we'll see, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There are people that are crazy and they go right along with each other. You're crazy, they're crazy. You know what? Just live like that then. You both of you motherfuckers just live a crazy life and that's just how y'all live. And it's that simple. But I don't want to be with somebody crazy. I don't like crazy women. I don't like being disrespected. And a lot of the times when you see men that function in this way and they like crazy women, it only falls into one or two categories. Either they come from a dysfunctional home or a dysfunctional place where they grew up and they saw crazy behavior and that becomes the norm for them, right? Or they grew up in an environment where that's the norm for them, where they think that, oh, if you treat a woman a certain way, she's gonna act crazy. Or if a woman loves you, she's gonna act crazy. No, get the fuck out of here. So you're telling me if somebody loves me, they're gonna disrespect me, they're gonna be violent with me, they're gonna be belligerent, they're gonna hit me, and they're gonna act dysfunctional if they love me? That's not love. That's not love. And for some people, it could be, but in reality, it's just a toxic situation. And that's one category for the people that like crazy women. That's the one category it falls into. For the second category is men that are not used to attention. Because if you look into a lot of guys that say, "Oh, I like crazy women," well, what follows? Oh, look how she look. I like how she react because a motherfucker not used to attention. A motherfucker's not used to the girls caring about them, or he was just previously in a situation where the motherfucking girl didn't give a shit about him. So a girl's getting all crazy and excited because she's showing that she cares. But it's so extreme that the motherfucker gets excited for it because it's clearly something he's not used to, or it's clearly something that he's not used to receiving, a certain type of attention that he's used to not receiving. So when a motherfucker say that he like crazy women, oh, I love crazy women, I like this, I like that. It's one of those two categories. He comes from an environment, whether that be from home or his neighborhood, where he thinks that shit is normal, or he just has this weird ass theory or ideology where he was taught that it's okay for a woman to get crazy and a woman can abuse you and you're supposed to set no fucking standards and you're not supposed to hit her back. I remember I used to work at Fridays and this one dude was like, yeah, my mom took a knife to my dad's head and he had to go to the hospital. I was like, damn, he didn't defend himself? No. But that's what a man's supposed to do. First of all, absolutely fucking not. If you threaten my life, it's up for you, right? It's up for you. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Now, I don't believe in domestic violence and I don't believe in putting your hands on women. But if this person has a fucking weapon and they're trying to unalive you, you have every right to defend yourself. 100%. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it, right? I'm not about to cut my life short because I'm trying to be a gentleman and you're trying to be, Dexter over here, Freddy Cougar trying to unalive. Absolutely not. We're not going to do that. We're not going to play those games. We're not going to do that. And this is why men usually like crazy women. It's one of two categories. He's used to it, comes from that environment, or he is, not used to attention. So he gets so excited with the attention that he just accepts it any way it happens, any way it comes. So that says a lot about you. You need to think about that. What do you fall into those categories? Because I would never tolerate somebody doing that crazy shit. And then on top of that, this shit gets real. There are a lot of women, and this is what I noticed. And this is like this is like, I don't like, I hate the whole single life. It's not cool. There are so many women that are on medication. You know how many times I remember the last time I spoke to somebody, this was a while ago, and it was on a dating app, and the girl was like, "Well, oh," I'm like, "So how long you been single?" She's like, "Oh, well, I've been single for about a month." I'm like, "What happened?" She's like, "My boyfriend just left me and didn't say anything." Well, why did he leave you? I don't know. He didn't. It was no explanation. I was like, "Damn!" But then she said, "Oh, I'm on medication. I'm bipolar." Oh, it started because she smoked weed. I'm like, "Why you gotta smoke weed?" Because she's like, it helps my nerves." And I'm like, oh, "Okay." She was like, "Yeah, but I'm also bipolar and this and that, and I'm on medication. So I just like guys that smoke because I can't always afford the weed, and it's better when they have the weed. And plus, the weed calms my nerves." And then she said, I have bipolarism, and then she said, I suffer from really bad anxiety." But I spoke to multiple females that said they're on this type of fucking medication a lot. I remember the University of Oxford had put out a study and they said 40% of women on average in the United States are on some type of medication or meds or suffer from some type of severe anxiety. That's crazy. That's nuts. And I'm not saying that just to judge them, but what I'm saying is this is something that you need to take into consideration before you start to take somebody serious. You need to take that shit into consideration because you're dating these women and nobody even does a filtering process. Nobody filters out women and nobody takes none of this shit into consideration. Oh, she bad. I like the way she look. So I'm just going to try to make this work. And when a man says, "Oh, I'm going to try to make this work," that means under any circumstances, I don't care what I have to deal with. I don't care what I have to go through. I'm just going to make this work. No, you have to have standards. You have to have standards because literally your life is on the line. So I just reacted to a story. You guys can go on my profile and look at it. There's this woman, I forget where they were from, but this woman was dating this guy. And by the way, you can go on my profile and look at it. It's a real story. This woman was dating this guy and she broke up with him. He broke up with her. He broke up with her. He cut things off. Now, this crazy ass woman was like, if I can't have you, nobody's going to have you. So she goes online. Okay. So she goes online, and then what she does is she goes online, and then she goes and get on Amazon, which is crazy. She goes on Amazon to buy acid, right? She goes on Amazon to buy acid. And then I guess she got into his house or whatever the story goes. You got to go look at the story. And point blank is she threw it on him while he was asleep. Now, this messed the guy up so bad. He couldn't talk, he couldn't move any part of his body. And long story short, he had to be euthanized. So he had to be euthanized, and his father and think where he lived, they legally euthanized him. And because they legally euthanized him, because he couldn't move any part of his body and he could only move his tongue and using like certain letters, he chose the letters to communicate to his father that he didn't want to be alive anymore because he was simply dealing with somebody who was batshit crazy, and she didn't unalive him. She just made his life extremely difficult to the point he didn't want to live. All because he broke up with her. You should not deal with people like this. And for these motherfuckers that are saying, "Oh, I like my woman crazy," until you find yourself in a situation like this. And then the thing is, some women do that shit and they think it's cute. They think it's cute, them acting crazy, and they think that men like, no, the fuck, men don't like that shit. You don't. And you should penalize people who act like this. You should not deal with them. You should confront it. And you should like freaking at the beginning, at the very beginning, nip that shit in the butt because it's not something that you want to deal with. And literally your life is on the line. Literally your life is on the line. And a lot of the times what you'll see is men that have a how do you say, men that are like more passive, men that just aren't as masculine, right? Because usually aggressive women attract feminine men. That's usually what you see. Really, really aggressive women attract really, really feminine men. So these dominant women, these crazy women usually attract weaker kind of men. And the weaker kind of men are usually the men that's gonna deal with it. It's like yin and yang, right? A masculine, dominant, quote unquote alpha male is not gonna be dealing with any female that's talking to him crazy. You don't necessarily have to consider yourself to be an alpha male, but if you're a masculine man, you're just not going to tolerate somebody talking to you crazy, let alone hitting on you and threatening you and just doing all type of shit. That's just not how it's going down. But usually women like that attract weak men. So if you're in a situation like that, you need to evaluate yourself and evaluate your situation if you're in a situation when a woman's always acting crazy and because you're tolerating it. And then on top of that, men are tolerating this shit. You are tolerating it. A woman can do nothing to you if you only tolerate it. Most women are not stronger than a man, right? There's very few exceptional cases where a woman's gonna whoop on a man. Very few. And the disrespect, you don't have to tolerate it. You only tolerate it because you allow it. Men that guys, if we're on TikTok, please double tap the screen. We should be at least at 1,000 likes. Come on. And you only in these situations if you tolerate it. If you're on YouTube, also everybody that's in here, just give the chat a like one time. You're only in these situations if you tolerate it. It's nuts. Nobody should be tolerating that, and that's the crazy part because as a man, you'll only ever be in these situations you tolerate it. One, you don't have to let somebody talk to you crazy. Two, you don't have to allow somebody to put their hands on you. Right? Three, you don't have to deal with the disrespect. It only happens because you allow it. Somebody disrespect, check that shit. Right? You got to check it. There was another story I remember seeing where a guy was holding his baby and he was dealing with this crazy woman. And he's holding a baby and they got into argue about something. Long story short, I think she had one of the, oh, you can't even see it in the background. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. Let's say she had a Glock, right? And she let it go at him. She upped it at him while he had the child in his hand. So the woman he ended up breaking up with her. Obviously, she went to jail and she got out. But then she's out, and then she went back to jail for unaliving her next boyfriend. Some of these people have legitimate issues. They have legitimate issues. Take this shit serious. If a woman says she's crazy, if she says she's suffering some type of severe anxiety, like the story that I gave you, one of these girls said her last boyfriend left her unannounced, didn't say anything. He just slowly slid out of there. What the fuck is that telling you? And you're about to deal with this woman. Don't get me wrong. I get it. You might be probably taking on. You'll probably see what it's all about. You want to see for yourself. Okay, cool. But do not execute a relationship with these kind of people because you're putting yourself at risk. Even if you say, okay, I'm not scared. Okay, cool. I'm not scared. I'll never be in a position where she could actually harm me. I always make sure I'm on point. Okay, cool. But at some point, you're going to sleep with this person, right? Unless you just, and who wants to live like that? Where you got to sleep on one eye open and you got to be on point all the time and you can't never like do this and do that and you can't do certain shit. That is not cool and that is not okay. It is never okay. And nobody should live like that and nobody should tolerate that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I remember with my ex, this was about maybe 6 years ago now. And it's the only domestic violence situation I ever had. So I remember she had put her hands on me 3 times, 3 different times. And the first time I remember we were in Manhattan and we were getting on to the Queensboro Bridge and I'm driving. I forgot she got mad at something and just hauled off and hit me. And I was about to grab her to fuck up, but she started screaming. Like I grabbed her shirt and I didn't do anything. I just grabbed her shirt. She started screaming. And it was summertime. We had the windows down and everybody around started looking. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm just let her go. And I didn't talk to her after that. And I remember like she was like crying later on and trying to apologize and was trying to give me head. I'm just like, nah, chill. I ain't even, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even in the mood for it. And then it happened again. Another time she put her hands on me. And then it happened again, another for the third time. When it happened the third time, she actually like had cut my face and I was bleeding. And I said to her that after that third time, I said, listen here. Listen here, you fucking bitch. If you put your hands on me one more time, I'm going to hit you back. Now, and this woman knows I've been fighting all my life. And at this time, I was ready to go pro. I think it was like maybe 26, 25 or something like that. I'm like ready to go pro at this time, right? And she knows she sees me in the gym sparring with world champions. She see me in the gym sparring with elite fighters. She seen me in gyms beating motherfuckers up. But for some reason, she thought that I wouldn't slap the shit out of her goofy ass. So lo and behold, we're sitting in front of my house and we are in the car just arguing. And she wanted to use my camera because I have a camera and she was a film major for school and she wanted to use my camera. And maybe I was being a little petty and I didn't want to let her use it. So I said, no, you know what? I don't want you to let you use my camera. And lo and behold, what happens? I take my camera, I try to leave, and then she, lo and behold, put her hands on me. I said, not today, bitch. And I backhand the fuck out of her. Wow! Bust her whole shit open. And then she's trying to fight me. She's trying to fight me. She's trying to like put her hands on me. She's trying to do all this shit. And I just simply held her head against the car door. Because like you're not stronger than me. You're not gonna fight me. You're not gonna beat me. And I wasn't about to like really beat her up. But I warned her. And she put her hands on me 3 different times. And I held her head against the wall, against the car door, until she calmed down. Then she was like, oh, I'm gonna call the police on you. And that's how very easily guys get DV charges all the time. Guys get domestic violence charges like that all the fucking time. All the time. And then even if you call the cops, and then, because trust me, I spoke to enough men to know I've been there. I spoke to men who said they got DV charges. And then when the cops arrive and the woman say, oh no, I don't want to press charges. Oh, I don't want him to go to jail. She changed her mind. They still getting up and getting the DV charge. They still end up getting the DV charge, a domestic violence charge. And my point in telling you this is do not deal with women like this. But how do you deal with a situation where you have a woman when they first put their hands on you? First of all, when it comes to this crazy shit, obviously you need a filtering mechanism. You have to filter out the women who are like this because long term you cannot have relationships with these type of women. Never, ever, 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 ever you can have relationships with these kind of women. That's first and foremost. You don't want to have relationships with these kind of women because you're putting your life at danger. You can fuck up your life. You can get a record. I don't have a record, but you can get a record, and that'll stop you from getting opportunities. You won't be able to own firearms. It'll really mess you up, especially if you live in New York, right? So it'll really mess up your life. So you want to have to filter these women out. When it comes to disrespect, check it. And if the after you check it and it continues, start separating yourself. If it happens again after you separate yourself even longer. And if it continues and never stops, then you have to separate yourself completely. And it's the same thing with the play fighting and putting your hands. Now, it's one thing to play around, but if a woman's seriously putting her hands on you, warn them the first time. Listen, hey, I don't play like that. You don't put your fucking hands on me. I don't put my hands on you. We have to have an understanding for respect. You set that clear fucking boundary. Please don't ever put your hands on me, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm the person at risk because you know you can't fucking beat me. And I'm going to be the one going to jail if I decide to retaliate. So you need to set clear boundaries. And if they violate them boundaries, you have to separate yourself completely. After that first time and you warn them and they put their hands on you and they do it again, separate yourself 100%, 100,000%. This person has disqualified themselves from ever being in a relationship with you. And if you go back on it, if you have no self-control, you have no fucking discipline, you want to be a coward of a man and put yourself in a fucking stupid ass situation, then you deserve everything that's coming to you. But after that first time you warn them that's not how we doing things and that's not how it's going down, that's not how we giving it up, and they still do it, then you got to cut them off because now you're putting yourself at major risk. You cannot risk your fucking life because somebody wants to be ignorant and violent. Don't do it. It's never worth it. It is never fucking worth it. Don't do it at all. And most guys have to understand you have to have your respect and you have to learn to filter these type of women out. You have to, because there are men every year that are losing their lives from dealing with women like this and not taking this shit serious. And there's men every year who end up in jail or end up in situations where they're defending themselves because you thought the shit was cute. You thought, oh, I like no, the fuck you don't. I like crazy women. You fucking attention deprived simp ass bitch made punk. How the fuck you like that shit? That shit is not cool. It's not. It's not cool and it's not cute and it's not something that anyone should tolerate. So stop dealing with the crazy women. Stop dealing with that shit. Don't tolerate it. And if it continues, then you know what? You're gonna have to cut these women off straight up and down. But anyway, guys, that's podcast 222. I'll take some questions on TikTok or on YouTube if you guys got them. And you got 5 minutes and I'm out. I gotta go to the gym. Thank you for the likes, guys. Let's get it to 2,000. Just because we almost there. And I'll take some questions. It looked like somebody wanted to join, but I don't really feel like speaking to people on the live. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here just to take questions and give the podcast. 5 minutes, guys. Shoot your questions if you have any. I'm out of here. I see you out here, Ingle. Putting in the work. Good looks. Brother, what do you think about best physique? The best physique is. I don't know. I guess I I have an ideal for what I think a good physique is. I think of like somebody that has a triangular build, like a pyramid, like up, broad shoulders, not crazy big, but just in shape, cut up, V waist, kind of like mine. I like my physique. What to do if woman lies to you about small things for no reason? You're probably dealing with a pathological liar, and you probably shouldn't deal with a bitch. I'm 6'3", 180, lean. I want to start kickboxing. Oh, you must be skinny. I'm 180. Well, I'm a little heavy right now, though. I'm 180, but I'm not 6'3". I'm 5'11". I say 6 feet, but I'm really 5'11". The crazy experience with women you've had. That's pretty much it. I can't talk about that on camera. The crazy. I done had people set up. Damn near gangster. No, we're not gonna talk about that. I can't really answer that question. What do you do for cardio and condition? I box. I'm a professional fighter. Hit the bag for maybe 20 rounds, 3 minutes each, sometimes 4 minutes. I run anywhere from 6 to 8 miles some days. I'm really stepping it up. On a small day, I might run 3 miles. Like yesterday, I only did six, a little more than six, but um, I ran to the boxing gym and then I ran back home. So it's about a 3 mile run each way. But I'm trying to step it up. I want to do like start doing 12 miles. I know David Goggins says he knows does no less than 12. I might have missed it because I was late, but what are some best ways to filter women, crazy women out? Um, Hit the link in the bio, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and go watch the whole podcast. Or I'm uploading the podcast right now. Subscribe to the Spotify podcast and just go listen to it. Because I'm not repeating all of that shit. How do I get out of the interview mode and become more playful? I don't know what the fuck that means, interview mode. And you can be playful from the jump. It don't matter. You got to learn game. Look at her past. It will decide the future. Yeah, you gotta have game. You gotta know how to be lighthearted. You gotta stop. You gotta learn to make things man to woman. If you afraid to be playful and talk to a bitch and like make little sexual jokes, you gotta man up. Obviously, that's something you want to baby steps. You don't want to just jump into it, say some crazy shit. You gotta fill out the waters. But also, it's building comfort. There's a lot of different things. It's very nuanced. It's not one question fits all. Quickest way to make a girl finish. What the fuck? Come on, bro. We're not about to do that. I just said I'm not talking about that, man. You still ask it. One more minute. Come on, get your last questions in, guys. I'm out. I get my teeth so white, I brush them. I brush them, motherfucker. And I fucking use Listerine. Yeah, I still got the glasses. I took down the site though because it wasn't pulling the type of numbers that I want. I would love to get them in TikTok Shop though, but I know I have to get on top of it. I have to stay on top of it because TikTok Shop don't play. You miss one order and they on your ass. I have to live at the fucking at the whatchamacallit, at the post office. I'm gonna look into that. If anybody knows how to set that shit up, hit me up. I'll set it up and put it in the TikTok Shop. Get some sales. You get a cut. Anyway, guys. All right, last question. I just got accepted for affiliate TikTok Shop. I'm trying to learn too. All right, well, whatever you learn, hit me up. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'm about to hit up the gym. Holla.